Here I am again, buried in orphans. It's just part of the job here in Ukraine. We work with at-risk children, teenagers, and special need kids. Ministry takes on many forms here. Our ministry is called Key of Hope. We consist of 8 full-time staff, but work with many volunteers and local churches, ministering to little children all the way to teenagers. But today, I want to tell you the story of one special young man. His name is Sasha. I met Sasha 3 years ago while working with one of the poor orphanages in western Ukraine. In Uzhgrad, the people speak a mixture of Ukrainian, Hungarian, and a local dialect. In the midst of all these children I couldn't understand, I found this one boy speaking English. Sasha became my inseparable assistant that year at camp. He carried my notebook and schedule. He translated when I needed to speak to other children. And then after a couple of days, Sasha asked me if I would be his tato, the Ukrainian word that means daddy. I explained that God was the real father he needed, and I told him the many reasons why I wouldn't be a good father. Nonetheless, he still wanted to call me Tato, and so I accepted the role. Sasha never knew his real dad. He was raised in the orphanage since he was an infant. This photo you see isn't real because orphans don't get baby pictures or baby books. We used his earliest photo and computer software to imagine what he would have looked like as a young child at 3 or 4. Sasha hungers for family because his parents abandoned him at birth at the hospital. He struggles with trying to figure out why they would just leave him. Is there something wrong with him? In 17 years, they never have once visited him. Sasha's earliest childhood memory was coming to Chasovcy when he was 5. Then, the orphanage had more than 100 children. He feared the older boys because they tormented and beat up the young ones. So how did Sasha know English? He picked it up from social workers and missionaries. One organization had done several English camps for the children over the years, but even so, it's clear that Sasha is gifted in languages. Sasha has become my translator whenever we work at his orphanage, and he helps me lead the children in worship because he's also musical. Last July, I learned that this would be Sasha's last year in the orphanage, as he would be turning 18. With no family and only minor provisions from the government, he asked me with tears in his eyes if there was any way I could help. I couldn't make him any promises, but I told him I'd pray about it. While I love all the kids, to me, Sasha's pretty special. But as a single guy, I didn't feel like I could take him on my own. Instead, I presented his situation to my ministry team, Key of Hope. I asked them, "We've taken in kids before. Would you pray about taking Sasha as a team?" We prayed and feel God's blessing on taking in Sasha. Arrangements are still being made, funding is still being raised, but he will be joining us this July. During the next 3 years, we'll be teaching Sasha basic life skills and getting him a university education in language. Sasha wants to be a translator and work with us to help orphans like himself. For Sasha, joining our Key of Hope family is an answer to dreams and prayers. Helping orphans make this transition to the real world is at the core of our ministry's vision. This leads us to the bigger plan, to build a transition home for many more Sashas in Ukraine. This year, Key of Hope bought a piece of property just outside Kiev for building our very first home. We're working with architects on designing a duplex housing 2 families and a total of 12 kids. The property includes a bit of land for gardening and possibly even some farm animals. The home will be a place where kids can experience being part of a family and to learn practical skills. It will also be designed as a training center for future foster families. Our goal is to begin satellite homes like this in cities all over Ukraine. It's an awesome privilege to demonstrate the Father heart of God in such a literal and tangible way. The next few years will prove to be both exciting and challenging. On behalf of the lost children of Ukraine, I want to thank you for standing behind our vision.